is Drake, obviously, especially after the fourth inning. He tried to find the first few innings. They weren't easy, but once he got out the fifth and got through, I think it was a 1, 2, 3 inning, and very clean innings after that, even at the end, even though there was some delays because of the reviews, but he just left it on the field, and he did what he's done for such a long period of time. As he's a kid that described as a Ben guy, but he doesn't break, and that was the case tonight. And we certainly got some pretty good offense too, beginning of the game, and then towards the end too. We felt like we could break it open, but their pitching was pretty solid, and we did what we needed to do in order to win it.
Okay, guys, just 1 second here. Got the microphone here, but let me move this. I'll come back to you.
Adam Spark, Tennessee, and Drake. Ohio State was in here a minute ago, and they said you weren't sharp early on, and you got sharp in the middle of the game. Everything you were throwing late was good. How do you get sharpness in the middle of a game?
Me and Brownie had a conversation on the mound, and then when I came in about what was going on, I kind of fixed some things, and then went out there, just mid-game change, and just went with it, and everything got better. I was throwing more strikes and locating a lot better.
Drake, did you have to lobby to go back out in the 8th or 9th at all, or did you know you were good the whole way?
No, I told him I was going back out. I told Brownie I was going back out when I came in.
Chris Lee with Vandy Sports. Drake, a little, I guess, celebratory moment for you when you're over. When you're done with that, you've battled through everything you battled through, what's going through your head?
Just glad we won. And it's just, we just keep doing, and the offense just keeps rolling, and save the bullpen for the whole weekend, which is a good thing, and just keep it rolling.
More questions? No, right behind you, Chris.
Drake, you mentioned a change. Can you elaborate on that at all? What did you? It seemed like the slider was struggling a little bit early, and you got that to get over. But what kind of changes did you make?
Just some hand placements. I was kind of getting low with my hands, and I was just keeping it above in my chest. Something that Brownie saw on film that he didn't want to tell me about because I was in the bullpen. I was doing good, and then during the game, it kind of struggled a little bit. So we went back and talked about it, and just went out there, and everything got sharper.
Stephen, you've been through these before. What's the value in winning the first win in a regional? Is it just relief? Is that what it is? Or what's the feeling when you win the first one?
That's huge. We came into this tournament saying that it was an Ohio State tournament, and that's really the way that we took it. And we were gonna try to take care of our business first with them, and then worry about anything that comes after later.
Stephen, you got hot last year, I think, April, May. You've been pretty hot the last few weeks. What is it? Is it the weather? What goes on when it starts to click over to this time of year?
Well, the weather's been pretty nice. I don't know that really has anything to do with it. Just trying to see the ball well, and seeing a lot of pitches over the course of the season, being able to make some adjustments.
JJ, the Ohio State coach talked about the depth of y'all's lineup, the damage you can do up and down. Did you feel like tonight just kind of reflected that?
I mean, yeah, we got a lot of depth, but at the same time, it's one of those things where if the guy doesn't get a job done, in a big time situation or a regular situation, just pass it along to the next guy because we have that confidence in each other and that ability to do so.
Question over here on the right. To your
JJ,
right.
how important not only to answer their runs in the first 2 innings, but actually outscore them in both of those innings?
It's just one of those things where you put it to the side. You know what this offense is capable of, but at the same time, it's got to get back to the middle and trust what we can do. We had a lot of confidence from the Ole Miss thing, but we put that behind us, and we're just able to put our bats together and not give up pitches and just do it there.
One more question? Fellas, thank you very much. Thank you.
Tim, as you studied film and scouting reports and whatever, what concerned you most about Ohio State tonight?
They can hit. they can hit. It's a potent lineup for sure. It starts at the top. Kenzone's a very good player, and then you saw some of that tonight. There's some very physical kids inside that lineup, and if you miss in the middle of the plate, they're going to get you. So I thought he did a good job of getting out of innings and really neutralizing them at the end, but that's a tough offense to stop.
Tim, when Drake said, "I'm staying in, I'm going back out there," what gives him how has he earned the right to say that? How do you know he's telling the truth that he can go back out and pitch well?
Drake's a little bit more bold right now than he is during the game, but to his credit, you as you mentioned, you earned that right. You get the innings were going a little bit quicker. Now, as we got towards the end, Kenger was up, and we had him ready to go, and he was probably a hit away from being taken out. That was as deep as we needed to really run him out there. But what he said is true. He allowed us to keep the cars in the garage and not use any other pitchers, and he did earn the right to finish that game if he could within reason.
How big an advantage is that in a tournament like this to have only used one pitcher in this game?
Well, I think the biggest piece, David, is you just don't know how many games you're going to play. And you could play a lot of games. I mean, you don't want to, but at the end of it, you just need to conserve as many pitchers or keep back as many pitchers as you possibly can. So the fact that he could go the distance was very helpful.
Tim, early on when you sent some guys down to the pen and the base runners are piling up, how close were you to pulling the trigger, and what was it that he did differently, I guess, from that point on?
I don't know if we were close to pulling the trigger, but if he couldn't get through that inning after, then we needed to have someone down there ready to go. So Eder was down there, and I think Hickman went down. But Drake has done this before. He's one of those guys who's, he's able to find himself in the fourth or fifth, and once he finds himself deep into the ball game, he's been very good at going the distance.
More questions, Adam up front?
Do you know who you're going to throw today? Can you say tomorrow, who you're going to throw tomorrow?
I'm not trying to be sneaky. I've got to talk to Brownie about it. We've got Rocker ready to go, Hickman ready to go. Not Raby yet, but it's probably going to be one of them.
Joe in the back. Go ahead, Chris.
You've been a creature of habit. I mean, 1, 2, 3 a lot of times, regular season, postseason. What would be the reason that you would maybe go with somebody besides Kumar tomorrow? Would it be matchup dependent, or what are you thinking there?
Yeah, it'd probably be matchup dependent more than anything else. And Hickman threw last Tuesday. I think we were thinking of starting him. It wasn't a sure thing that we were going to start Drake, and we communicated that to the kids. But I think it depends on the matchup.
Tim, just wonder what you thought of the atmosphere tonight, and do you sense excitement in the city about this team right now?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's good to look up there and see the seats filled, and the music was very good. I mean, you could catch a lot of people moving, which is nice to see. If they're not moved by us scoring, then they're moved by sound, and that's always good to see. But I thought the atmosphere was very good, for a first game, for sure. Happy for that.
Harrison Ray made a couple of really good tags on the stolen base attempts, had the tough catch in shallow right. Was this a particularly good defensive game for him, or have you seen that kind of stuff all year?
He's gotten better for sure, and those plays, those 2 double plays, the strikeout, throwout, those were tough tags, and he stayed with both plays. The catch, as you mentioned, was a tough catch too, because he was going into the outfield. He returned the ball back to the catcher well. He's played well. He and Marty have really improved as the season has progressed. Marty made some nice glove plays tonight too. We made a couple of botches, but I think for the most part we played good defense. We had to, otherwise that game could have been broken open early.
1 or 2 more questions. Joe, go right.
Just following up on that, Tim, the overall defensive performance of this team, how important has it been, and is it surprising given the moving around that you've done?
I think so. That was the part that I was concerned about in January. That kept me up a lot. Just thinking about what we're going to do at those other 2 spots, and then really Harrison or Marty. When I sat him down for those 4 games, that's when we moved Harrison back over to second base, and that was kind of, it did a favor for both guys. It moved Harrison to second for the rest of the year and put Marty over at third base. And once they started playing with a little bit of rhythm and confidence, then that became our infield. But they've been very solid. And Julian had not made an error throughout the year until tonight. So, and me too, Rains of course. So, anyway, they've been pretty good.
The momentum being what it is this time of year, I asked JJ to answer both their runs in the first 2 innings and actually win those innings. How important was that?
It was important, especially in a first game, because everyone is, I don't care what anyone says, there's some butterflies, there's some nervousness. It's just the first game of a tournament. But once you start playing through it a little bit, then people start to even out a little bit. So to your point, winning both those frames and winning 5 frames during the course of the game, they were important to neutralize just the environment at the time. Because you could see Ohio State came out with a lot of confidence. They are a good team. That freshman on the mound is very good. And had things not gone that way, the game changes for sure.
One more question. Thank you, Coach, very much.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks.
Commodores